This episode is brought to you by Novilla Mattresses. When it comes to your mother, you want her sleeping in a comfortable bed. When she's with me, she won't have to worry about that because I sleep on a Novilla mattress. Let me tell you, when your mom is at my place, she is sleeping on a very comfortable mattress and she is going to get you one as well. Meet their Bliss Organic Memory Foam Mattress. Perfect for those who want a cool, dry, undisturbed sleep throughout the night, made with organic bamboo charcoal fiber, excellent motion isolation, cooling gel-infused memory foam that fits all bed frames and is reasonably priced. Perfect for if you want an inexpensive mattress for you, your children, or even for your guest room. It comes in a box delivered right to your door, and you get 100 nights to try it out. Skip that trip to the big box mattress store and get a mattress from Novilla. Throw out that cheap Walmart mattress you got in college and get yourself a mattress made by Novilla. Using promo code Schweezy or the link in our description, you can save 10% on any purchase through Novilla directly. Try out the mattress that your mom tried out last night. Again, that's 10% off using promo code Schweezy. And a reminder, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you want it the most, there's no easy way out. When you're ready to go and your heart's left in doubt, don't give up on your faith, but come to those who believe it, and that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Hello, and what is going on, my fellow Schwoke Lords? What is up? Welcome back once again to the Lord's trademark favorite podcast. What's up? What's going on with y'all? It's been a year or whatever. We're gonna bring you the hits today. I don't know why I said it's been a year. This year's been like, I don't know what to say about this year so far. Very interesting. Seems like every year is just kind of sucky in its own way. You know, is it seem that way? You're like, you know, you look back to 2016 sucked, and then you're like, 2017 wasn't that much better. You're like, 2018, it had its stable moments, you know, and then 2019, I got way too fat. In 2020, we all know what happened in 2020, and then 2021. I think my mental health was like deteriorating from 2020, and then 2022, people died in my life, and so yeah, I don't know. Is 2023 my year? You know, we're halfway. June's halfway through, right? Yeah, June 21st. That's the halfway mark in the year. Yeah, we've been into the year. Has it been good or bad? I don't know. I can't really say yet. Just waiting for those blessings in the skies, you know? Blessing in the skies, you know, the world has evolved around me. You know, those fun little, Amy and Tammy sayings. Anytime I think about, like, and just saying that people, if, like, someone says Pacific instead of specific, or subscription instead of imperscription, you know, when someone just says the wrong thing. And, like, because the thing is, when they say it wrong, they're trying to sound normal, even though they're using words that don't mean what they think they mean. Especially, like, Pacific. Like, I legit worked with some people who did actually write instead of specific. Be more specific, be more Pacific. Like, legit, I've worked jobs, okay? Worked jobs. And was it a minimum wage job? No, it was a full-time, 40 hours a week job. And it was like sitting on a computer and doing shit too. So you had to know how to spell. But anyways, though, this week, what have I been doing this week? I went to my little cousins, both of them. I have two little cousins. I went to both their baseball games, and the little one's 4 now. Wow. 6 and 4, and it's like optional it's like it's not called like their T-ball game, it's the optional T-ball game, where it's like you don't have to use the T if you don't want to, but you can. And the little one, most of those people, most of them use the tee. And surprisingly enough, when I watched the game, they had no one in the outfield. And guess what? It was okay. Mainly because they don't keep score. They just like let everyone bat and run the bases. And then they do like 3 innings and then game over. Eat some snacks, Get some ice cream, Those are the games.
What?
This is the type of guy you get.
So, yeah, that was fun. But yeah, like they hit the ball. None of the kids know how to, there weren't too many pop flies, but the occasional, in quotations, pop flies that did happen. Did any of those kids catch it? No. Did anyone keep score? No. And like I said, I did say that they kept score basically by everyone just gets to run. So technically, the winner of the game is the team with the most team members. So,
that's rough, buddy.
It's like if you're maybe a kid or two called out sick, couldn't make it to the game. But yeah, no, it was fun. Oh yeah, what happened when I did smoke weed and I spiked my Sonic drink. I put it's a dietary limeade and then you put some vodka in it. That's what you do. And usually when that's a Schweezy, an old Schweezy trick where am I drinking alcohol in a place that's drinking alcohol is frowned upon? That's what it's used for. And you know what? Here's the thing though, because some of you are thinking, why did you have to be drinking at the T-ball game? And I'm here to tell you this. I went the entire month of May without drinking. And, I've been doing strict diet stuff. So I thought, hey, the month's over. It's June now. It's Pride Month. We're all gay. I'm actually semi-bisexual, where I'm bisexual, but I'm only attracted to one gender. I read that, and it was like the stupidest fucking shit I've ever read. So I'm semi-bisexual. That's my current sexuality. But so I'm bisexual, but I'm only really attracted to women. But Link from Tears of the Kingdom, he was up there, If he switched genders, I think we'd all be down to DTF, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it was really funny. I spiked my Sonic drink, I wanted to enjoy the game. It was fun. And guess what? Games are more fun when you've had alcohol and weed in your system. I'm going to tell you that if you have kids and you're like, I have to go to their thing because I'm a good parent, a B- parent. A B- parent, what I like to describe is a parent who, when their kid does shit, they go there and support them. They're supportive parents. How do they get the B-, though? Well, it's there are certain situations where it's oh, hey, we're doing a fundraiser for your kid's shit, my kid, the kid will do fundraising, and I'll buy something from them. But then they're like, would you be willing to work this? Absolutely fucking not. I know I have family members with, all the family members I have with kids, they're like, yeah, we volunteered to do this for our kids' school today. And I'm like, I would never do that in my fucking life, They're like, would you like to be the classroom helper for your child's class? No. That's what you're paid for. They always have, assistants in the room. Most teachers do, unless it's a shitty school. Then they don't. But, at the same time, would a parent like to volunteer? First of all, just because you're a parent of a kid doesn't mean you're qualified to be helping in a classroom, It's I'm going to take a week off of work, and I'm going to volunteer in my child's class. Fuck no. So, volunteering for this shit. Would you like to work the concession stand at your child's T-ball game? Fuck no. That sounds like something I don't want to do from now and forever. So, what I also remembered is I used to be part of the Christian campus house in college, Every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. And what they would do is for their spring break trips, they'd be working with the concession stands, and, that money, and along with tip money as well, would go to, helping some people who may not have the finances to pay for the trip, And so what they would do then, they work it off and they'd help you out, financially help you out. And, it was a cool thing. It was a cool thing, regardless of what you want to do. And plus, it was not a mission trip. It was just, we're going to go somewhere and have fun and talk Jesus for a little bit. That's what it was. And so, what was I talking about here? Oh yeah, volunteering. So, he wasn't my roommate at that time, but at the time, like we just became friends, and then we eventually became roommates. So we eventually ended up moving in together. So we were kind of a thing. I need to talk to him. I saw him online playing Tears of the Kingdom, so I need to talk to that old roommate. But anyways, though, he convinced me and dragged me into doing it, and I got to tell you, that was the worst fucking shit. Because I just started college, and I went and I felt like it was a weird low point because I toured a lot that summer, and like I got done touring, and now I'm volunteering at a concession stand, for a football game, and I'm like, and it was like the school rivals too. It was fucking rough. Anyways, though, be a cool B- parent. Being a B- parent is who you need to be. Summing that up. Also, I realized, so the kids on the team, they all got to have their own, jersey numbers, It's, they're not like jerseys. They were T-shirts with a local business that paid for it and got their name in front of, on, little kids' jerseys. I think it's just funny, just the advertising. Was it the oldest one? I'm not going to try to give up too any information. I don't want to give out any identities because there's other kids there too, and I don't want any of you fucking weirdos trying to track down these kids. But so the company that started it's BRS, and I'm not gonna tell you what else the company does or anything. So I just like to call the team the Burrs. Like, let's go Burrs, I thought that shit was funny. And yeah, so that was cool. But yeah, the kids all got to pick out their numbers, or they, their parents picked out their number for them because the kids didn't know what to do, or they took their parents' number. And if I had a kid, they're not going to get to choose their number. I'm just going to tell you, they're not going to get to choose their number because their jersey number is either going to be 69 or 420. And 69 is probably more likely. You rarely see three-digit jerseys, right? That's not super common. Well, I also don't watch sports, so I probably wouldn't know either. But 69 is probably going to be the most likely one. And I got to tell you, if parents complain about it, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm just going to tell them to shut the fuck up because I don't care. You're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to my kid? 69, though it is a funny number with other connotations, it's still just a fucking number. 69, he's not making a shirt that says, I like to 69. If that was the shirt, yes, that would be inappropriate, especially for a child to wear. But if it's a jersey number that's 69, I gotta tell you, I don't think there's nothing you can do about it, unless the coach is like, "Okay, I'm gonna kick your kid off the team because he has all these, because he's making me stray away from God." I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. But yeah, and also we need new funny numbers, okay? We need new funny numbers, and yeah, there's only two funny numbers. Oh, 230 is also a funny number, but see, 69 for 20, they're non-Christian funny numbers. 230, that's a Christian funny number. And for those of you who do not get the joke, think about it like time. It's what time do you go to the dentist? 2:30. 2:30 because it's tooth hurdy. It sounds similar. So yeah, we need new funny numbers. But welcome to the show today, folks. We got a good one for you. The only podcast not calling people a flag during Pride Month. Flag Day falls on Pride Month. Will we have some? Are we? Oh yeah, it's Juneteenth. 2 days. I'm recording this on the 11th, June 11th. So we're about to have Juneteenth soon. What are you guys doing for Juneteenth? But no, so this very real background today is the Pride flag, because it's still Pride Month, and are we gonna make Pride Month and Christmas our big series months? That'd be pretty funny. But yeah. Anyways, though, check out my music wherever you stream your music at. Working on new stuff. I should have a new song out soon. So you're definitely going to be following over there to know when that shit drops. Social media as well at TheSchweezy. Everywhere you get social media. Go check me out there. Twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Go check that out every Thursday. We're still playing Tears of the Kingdom. We're playing a lot of Zelda. folks. We're going to be playing that shit for a minute. So, yeah, what would I say to that?
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
Definitely cool stuff. So definitely go check that out. Connect your Amazon Prime account, press the subscribe, financially support us as well. And the Patreon page. Patreon is a great way to say thank you for being a friend. Travel down this road back again. If your heart is true, you're a pal and a confidant. So stay cool and don't be stingy.
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
But make sure you're doing the free show, like subscribing to the show, especially over on YouTube for you audio listeners. Check out our YouTube page. Share the highlights with all your friends and family. Make sure you're liking the episode. I already said subscribe, leave us a comment, and on the audio's platforms, give us a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1 star review. And yeah, leave a review too. So
Come on, Mark, don't be stingy.
that's what. Yeah. So don't be fucking stingy, Mark. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark. That guy's dead, by the way. I just want to let you know. Every time you hear fucking,
That's my hole. That's where it spits.
coming from a dead man who thankfully recorded that silliness in pretty decent quality audio. Not like the best. It's like a cheap headset still, but like there's like a difference between good audio and clear audio. I want to say that's clear, if that makes sense to you. Like there's still some imperfections and the mic isn't the best. It's not as crisp and clear as what you have here. A $400 microphone, probably a $10 less than $10 cable. $700 audio interface, $200 for Logic, and the plugins. I used a couple paid plugins on this. Yeah, iPad 2, if we want to count that for the soundboard. Computer, I mean, like stuff adds up, All right. Let's jump into previous week right now. What is previous week right now, you may be asking? Previous week right now is the news from last week that I will be going over at this very moment. So,
let's just jump into it.
Let's do this. This is from Tech Radar. We don't know them. So, in case you're like, oh, does he know those guys? No. I don't even know if they're run by guys. To be honest with you, it could be run by women. I don't know who runs that shit. All right, here we go. Netflix password sharing crackdown is actually working as subscriptions spike.
That's rough, buddy.
Despite many opinions that it would be a disaster, the Netflix password sharing crackdown is going better than many might have anticipated. According to new data compiled by analytics company Antenna, as first reported by Business Insider, the world's best streaming service saw a huge uptick in new subscribers across the U.S. in the first 6 days after the clampdown was announced. Per Antenna's report, Netflix had the 4 single largest days of subscriber growth in the U.S. in 4.5 years. Even better for Netflix, more than 100,000 new subscribers forked over their hard-earned cash across May 26th and 27th, 2 and 3 days respectively, after Netflix rolled out its password-sharing crackdown policy in the U.S., UK, and Australia. The last time Netflix saw such a spike in subscribers was in March 2020, when around 75,000 newly daily subscribers opened accounts at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, with people beginning to work from home and being unable to, do anything outside. Such a large amount of new subscribers have resulted in a 102% increase on Netflix's normal daily signups to, again, a figure that exceeds that seen during the height of the pandemic. Clearly, then, Netflix's global rollout of its password-sharing crackdown is working wonders, well, in the US at least. Antenna's data doesn't account for the UK or Australian viewers, nor does it account for how well the policy is working worldwide. It is, though, expected to be working well in other territories, if not now, then definitely in the future. Netflix trial run of its password crackdown, which took place in Canada, Latin America, and Spain in late 2022, initially saw a downturn in Netflix subscribers as they canceled their subscription over the policy, something that we saw in the first 48 hours after the streaming giant announced the global rollout. However, Netflix's customers in Canada is now bigger than when password sharing was commonplace, meaning people have reactivated their accounts or created their own in the weeks post-crackdown. Even with the seemingly big victory, Netflix's plan hasn't been without its problems. Antenna's report also suggests cancellations have also increased since the policy was rolled out globally, even if the rate of new account holders has exceeded those canceling their subscription. Per Antenna, the ratio of new users to those closing their accounts is up to 25.6% since May 23rd. So Netflix's plan is working, but there are still those defecting from the service over the company's desire to no longer allow for password sharing between households. Some of those walking away from Netflix might be single parents and or families on a budget who simply can't afford to pay for multiple subscriptions to various streamers, including big Netflix rivals like Disney+, Prime Video, and Max. Overall, Netflix can be pleased with their initial outcome to its worldwide password sharing efforts. The company had expected backlash to be so big it warned partners, but it's sure to have been buoyed by Antenna's data and its own internal set of figures over the last few weeks. And if Netflix and other streamers are seeing an increase in new users, especially those choosing the cheapest ad-based plans, you can expect others like Prime Video to follow suit and offer their own ad-based subscription tiers very soon. For more Netflix-based coverage, find out how to sign up for Netflix, or if you'd prefer, how to cancel your Netflix subscription. If you're in the former group, though, be sure to read our best Netflix movies and best Netflix shows once your account is live. Okay, thank you, Tech Radar. The he's or she's or theys that work there. So yeah, surprising. Didn't the article start with subscription spikes? Like, it's actually working for him. So yeah, interesting. So what was it? Because I don't have to deal with that. I don't have that problem with the Netflix account. So if you're on, from what I read, if I remember right, is if you were on another IP address every 30 days, you had to re-log in. Isn't that what I read? Let me Google. How Netflix password sharing works. There we go. How does Netflix know that you're sharing someone else's password? Netflix uses a combination of IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity from devices signed into the Netflix accounts. Determine if an account is being used in the primary account holder's household. Okay, so they use the IP address. So yeah, so I guess the question is, someone needs to work that. So yeah, isn't it like if you're at a different address, you just have to re-sign in every day, or it just starts being a bitch? Because the IP address thing, what if you go from your house and you just want to watch something on your phone, but you're like the same person, you know? It's interesting shit we have. It's an interesting world we live in now, where sharing passwords. Apparently, you're not supposed to share your password. Do y'all know that? You're not supposed to share your fucking passwords? I was giving out the Cancel Schweezy YouTube logins and all my socials all the time. I just gave those out to people. I was like, don't log into it, but here's the password. And I just take people's word for it. Yeah, like how extra member slot, then about the extra member to use the extra member slot. Primary location, yeah. Do not collect GPS data. Try not to determine the precise physical location. Okay. Yeah, because if it's IP addresses, because that makes sense, because it's just like, you know. But then, you know, there's always questions I don't have. I'm just happy I don't have to deal with that problem. So, yeah. So anyways, though, if you're new to Netflix, you know, having your own account, welcome. Welcome, folks. Welcome to adulthood. Ain't it fun living in the real world? Ain't it good? Ain't it good being all alone? All right, so it's time for another segment of
Cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
where we go over what the fuck Garth Brooks has been doing. And I bet you're thinking, he's going to be talking about his bar in downtown Nashville serving Bud Light. No, it's not a story. That's fucking normal nonsense that a business would do. We're like, we're gonna I wonder how many businesses actually stopped serving Bud Light. I'm gonna make a guess. None of those Broadway bars, maybe Kid Rock's bar. Every other one probably kept Bud Light on the menu because it's like, and especially they're going to still use Budweiser products because they're like, Budweiser owns like almost a ton of just different brands of beers. Like, I'm going to drink this brand. I think Budweiser owns that one too. All right. Anyways, let's go to our article of the evening. Breaking. Garth Brooks says 5 more Chris Gaines albums are on the way. It's official, Garth Brooks is ready to receive his rock star alter ego, Chris Gaines. During an extensive Q&A interview at Billboard Country Live in Conversation, the country star confirmed his intentions to release more music as the controversial character. The 1999 album Garth Brooks in the Life of Chris Gaines was meant to serve as a companion album to a feature film called The Lamb, which featured Brooks in the fictional lead role of Gaines, a troubled rock musician. The Lamb never made it to theaters, leaving many listeners to assume in The Life of Chris Gaines was just a confusing one-off project. During Wednesday's June 7th interview, Brooks explained how the record was actually created as a compilation of songs from 5 of Gaines' fictional records. 24 years later, Brooks says he's still determined to bring those conceptual albums to life. The five albums have to come out. He told the audience, I don't know if it's because I'm 114 years old, he joked, but 14 years old, but now everything takes 3 hours more than it took time to do before. The Gaines project was a lot of time put in because it's not naturally right. You're acting on a record, but I want to do it. Although continuing the Gaines project is still a high priority for Brooks, he'll have to find time to head into the studio between performances at his Las Vegas residency and recording sessions for his upcoming Duets album with Trisha Yearbutt. So that is confirmed. I don't know when we're going to get to it, but it's on the list that we're going to get done. Brooks reiterated 5 albums. So, for those of you who don't know, let me give a brief summary. Let's see how brief I can make this. A brief summary of the process of Chris Gaines. This article did explain it, but I want to talk about it more. So, basically, what happened is they wanted to make a movie called The Lamb, and basically, with that film in mind, they wanted some like Tommy Lee type character. I think it was Tommy Lee or one of the rock stars of the age to play, to be the lead role, but Garth Brooks was going to be kind of in charge of the music. And then they couldn't find anyone, so Garth Brooks was like, hell, I'll do it. So what happens then is they work on the concept for a movie called The Lamb about Chris Gaines. This rock star musician. But Chris Gaines also has a backstory, too. And so, if you watch, there's like a I don't think it's VH1, but VH1 Behind the Music thing. I think you can find it on YouTube, of like Chris Gaines' life. So there's like a whole backstory to him, though, too. And, going into the backstory, they go out, they talk about each individual album release that, Chris Gaines made. Though those albums don't exist, some of the songs that he made, basically, I want to say it's maybe 5 albums worth of technically materials. They made a compilation album, and so the one CD you can find is basically like the best of, what's it called? Someone mailed me a copy. Not Chris Gaines. The name of that album, The Life of Chris Gaines or something like that. And basically they released a compilation album as if like this is a well-known artist already and he released his best of album. And then the movie and the Behind the Music documentary were supposed to, explain go into each individual song, and they even went into, what happened in Chris Gaines' life at the time, And it's pretty wild, and honestly, the album is actually pretty good. I think as a Garth Brooks album as a whole, I think that is the best. So then we talk about, hopefully that backstory made sense to you. But we talk about Chris Gaines, like he says he has 5 albums. And now you're thinking, that sounds like a lot to just release. But then you got to think, they may have just had it written, because I don't think Garth wrote all these songs that are on those records. on the record at least already, but I'm saying if you need to make 5 albums worth of material, like, and just say money wasn't a problem, you're going to put some money down for some songwriters. You know, you're going to get like 3 or 4 people in a room and you're going to make songs and stuff like that. Also, I like how is he going to find his time between recording his duets album and his Las Vegas residency? Well, here's what I will tell you. He's probably going to fly on his private jet, the one he took a shit on. By the way, he shit on the floor on that one and then didn't want to pay to have someone clean it up. Just wanted to let y'all know that. That still exists. Or it was Trisha, but I want to blame Garth. So he would probably have his Las Vegas residency and fly back. And, you know, Garth isn't, you know, if you're in a local band, like, you do most of your own shit. But if you're Garth Brooks, like, or anyone, all he has to do, like, I don't think he's probably not playing guitar in these records. All he does is show up to the studio and sing. That's all he has to do. And I think that's what Trisha Yearwood does, too. So they'll probably get a big session, get a bunch of guys in, then do some overdubs, and then... Or probably just do it like that. And then then Garth and Trisha come in to his studio and record it. It's not that hard. It may even be in Las Vegas, too, but I think, I don't know, Studio G, is that an actual working studio, or is that, because I'm not watching any of that. I've only seen a little bit of that shit, but I don't know, like, the room, whatever. But anyways, though, 5 albums sounds like a lot, but then you're thinking about money's not a problem, so you could get multiple different people to write 5 albums, and then... Especially if you keep the same writing group, they'd all sound a little individual. And then, you know, release, you know, so you have the songs already and then you just release it. And story-wise, like, why would you do 5 albums at once? Like, it's in the backstory. You know, it's in the backstory of Garth. Will they release all at once or spread out? I bet they'll be spread out. I think it's been weird. The Chris Gaines has been teased for a while now. And this is like the newest news I think we've heard on the Chris Gaines stuff. So... pretty exciting. I do say so myself.
I identify as a fucking threat.
Last article we got here today is from Yahoo. Here we go. We need a refund. Fight breaks out at a Florida screening of The Little Mermaid. A fight broke out last month at an Orlando theater during the screening of one of the most family-friendly movies playing, The Little Mermaid, in a widely shared TikTok video posted by So Hippolyte on May 27th. The viewers can see and hear a group of women screaming at each other in a darkened theater as the remakes of Disney's 1989 classic play on a large screen behind them. In front of my daughter, shouts one woman. Don't yell at me in front of my daughter. The 2 women standing up and obscuring the screen continue to curse at each other at the top of their lungs. A man enters and says, "Hey, hey," as he attempts to defuse the situation. "What's going on?" "I need a refund on my ticket." "No," says the social media user So Impolite, who added that the theater was full of children and families. "We getting refund because this is a kid's movie. Oh my God." And I bet you all wondering, why were you using a black voice? Well, let's play the clip.
In front of my daughter! Mama asked you right, you know? You all disrespectful, you all that. Don't tell me in front of my daughter!
Oh, I need a refund on my ticket. No. We getting a refund, because No. We need a refund.
What's going on?
This is a kid's movie. Oh my God.
And, you know, now I bet you're all thinking, hey, that's, isn't there a stereotype about black people in a movie theater? You know, the show's called Cancel Schweezy. If you're mad, you clicked on my face, you know? Like, you knew what you know what you're fucking signing up for when you click on my face. Just, and, you know, and then it reminds me of a kind of related, but not really. But when I saw I waited a week to see the first Black Panther movie. Usually I see Marvel shit, like, immediately. But to see Black Panther movie, I waited a week because I was worried some white dude was going to come in and shoot up the theater. There was a lot of black people in the theater. And did any of them talk during the movie? The whole time. That's the worst part. The worst part about, like, stereotypes is that when they're true and it happens, it's like, I don't know what I can do in this situation. Like, clearly I'm seeing a movie with the majority of the cast being black, and a majority of the audience is black, and the majority of the audience is talking throughout the entire movie. And as we know, black people like to talk during the movie. Oh, nuh-uh. Like, oh, hell no. And then Michael B. Jordan takes his shirt off. Oh, hell yeah. You know, like that girl who broke her retainer when he took off his shirt. And Michael B. Jordan bought her a new retainer. That was nice of him. That's it's like sex, but you don't get, it's like, it's validation. It's not sex. It's validation, you know? You just need that validation, you know? Like sometimes when she says, ow, you know what I'm talking about? You know, if you don't know what I'm getting at, I'm sorry. But some of you know, when, if she says, ah, you know who I'm talking about? You're fine. You're fine, fellas. You're fine, fellas. Unless you just stick it in her butt, and she's gonna say ow if you do it like you should fucking aggressively stick it in there, no lube. That's the thing with anal. That's the real thing with anal. People talk about it a lot, but how much lube? I guess some people are okay with lube. I'm like, how many people out there are like a majority of people are probably dry, doing it not pretty dry, apparently if you do anal, you have to use a lot of lube. Anyways, though, black people in movie theaters and how it affects you. Oh yeah, I remember I had a friend, his wife didn't know that joke, and I had to send her an example. I sent her the Black Panther example.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I sent him and I think I sent her like 2 more. I can't remember the other movies I watched, or what the examples. I think I may have said like spilled beans on myself watching Cars 2, and a young black gentleman said, that N-word is eating beans, or something like that. That was a funny joke. Anyways, though, how a fight started in a movie theater started as probably fucking nothing, and escalated into fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy, dude. And I remember reading this article, and, initially thinking, I'm like, wow, people, and then I saw they were black, and I'm like, oh. And, yeah. Anyways, though, what do y'all think? Should black people be allowed to go to movie theaters? I don't know. No, they can't. Yes. Was segregation Was segregation actually that bad? Segregation's also, last topic. I may have to actually cut this out. No. I'll say it. Like, I've heard some people, and this is like black people on TikTok talking, that they'd be like, I don't think the whole segregation would be that bad if it was like separate but equal resources. If it was resources, I don't think it'd be a problem, I don't think it'd be racist. It'd be like, oh, that guy's from another country. Okay. That guy's from the South. Anyways, though, yeah. Tell me what you think about this. Have you ever been out in public and thought, hey, look at that fat guy, only for it to turn out to be a mirror and you are in fact the fat guy? That was the moment that kickstarted me into becoming the greatest health expert the world has ever seen. But I wasn't born being built different. Like Joe Cocker before me, I get by with a little help from my friends. And my friends happen to be today's sponsor, FNX Fitness. FNX Fitness is committed to creating innovative supplements of the highest quality that provide focus for a productive morning, energy to thrive all day, performance supplements to reach new goals, unique sleep and recovery formulas to support any sport, and healthy supplements to support an active lifestyle for years to come. I also really enjoy their clothing line that makes you look good while you work out as well. Another thing I love about FNX Fitness is that with every purchase, they donate a gallon of water to a child in need. Start working out smarter, not harder, by using the link in our description today you can save 15% on your purchase. Go save 15% on some of the best supplements out there when using the link in our description. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. When you're at the beach, you aren't going there naked, letting everyone see your little shrunken PP from being in the water. No, you're wearing some sort of clothing to cover up your privates. So why would you let companies you buy products from have access to the privates of your credit cards? That's where today's sponsor, Privacy, becomes the clothing for your credit card information. Privacy is the first payment product that keeps your personal information private while being even more convenient than using a physical payment card online. Privacy empowers you to protect your physical card information. Each merchant you share your card information with puts you more at risk to hackers or data breaches. Why not use a privacy card instead? By creating a virtual card with privacy for each merchant you shop with, your physical card is safe and secure. Privacy cards can be paused or closed at any time, preventing any future transactions from being authorized. Privacy cards can also be single-use, meaning they close after just one authorized transaction. One of my favorite ways to use privacy is for a service with a free trial that requires you to put in a credit card to sign up. But wait, there's more. By using the link in our description, you can get $5 to spend anywhere. That's money you get to use. So start paying the smart way with Privacy. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. Okay, so I think it was last night or maybe maybe the night before, I watched this movie. The movie's titled The Longest Week. And I gotta say, I mean, it was an okay movie. I mean, I've been kind of going on like a binge of Jason Bateman movies because those comedies, you know, like Identity Thief Identity Thief. And that was funny because I love it because it has the meme, "The fuck you are," you know, classic meme for a classic society, you know. So anyways, though, so I was just going through Jason Bateman movies and watched this movie called The Longest Week. And like I said, it's an okay movie. It's a very artsy film. I would say it's very similar to Annie Hall. Now, I know that Woody Allen is canceled, and I agree that he should be canceled, but I think we can watch the movies, you know. I think we can watch the movies, and I think the kind of knowing some of that stuff makes some of the movies and the age gaps a little bit more interesting. It makes the characters that like Woody Allen plays like a little more interesting. But I really like Annie Hall. I really like that movie. I think of it like that because Annie Hall is the kind of movie that it's like a love story, but it doesn't end happy. I don't know. I like those stories. Those stories are very unique. And The Longest Week had that type of love story, you know? Those tend to be the stories that really grab my attention I would say love stories that don't end happily ever after, you know? It's like, this is real life. This is my life, you know? It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. It is my life. Oh, that one. That was a funny meme. I think my hair is fine. I'm gonna get it to a spot I like, and then I'm not gonna touch it. So yeah, no, let me read the biography or the little bio synopsis. That's the real right word.
This is the type of guy you get.
So, let's read the synopsis. There we go. Let's read that real quick. Left broke and homeless by his wealthy parents' divorce, a young man, Jason Bateman, moves in with an old friend, Billy Crudup, and finally meets the woman, Olivia Wilde, of his dreams, only to discover she's already dating his friend. Okay. So that's like this premise, like, so Jason Bateman's like this rich kid, and he basically lives, I don't know, New York has those things where it's like an apartment building, but it's like it has like a name to it, and it's a vibe to it, you know? You know, it's almost like a neighborhood you live in, you know, the building, you know? Like, the one on Only Murders in the Building, that building. I don't know, stuff like that's always kind of cool. But But yeah, so he's living in a hotel apartment type of thing. I know, like, you know, those apartments that feel like you're a hotel. You kind of get what I'm saying. But yeah, so he's living in there. Then he gets kicked out because his parents are going through a divorce, and eventually it works out. And it's weird that this movie really takes place in the span of a week, because it feels a lot longer than that in there, because like that whole romance is like a week situation, and it's like just a bad week in this guy's life. And there's the thing I hate about this movie is that I kind of relate to Jason Bateman's character a little bit, but I actually release shit. I actually release music. Jason Bateman's character, he does not release books. Like, he's like, I'm an author, but I don't release books. I at least release music. There's music on wherever streaming service you go to. But yeah, so he moves in with his friend, and Olivia Wilde's in it, and as we all like to say, Olivia Wilde, one of my dream come trues. Her, like, she's awesome. I get it. She wore like terrible eyelashes in the movie. It like distracted me the entire movie. But besides that, I have to say, though, like, she was great in it. I want to say it's like a 6 out of 10 movie, but sometimes those are the charmers. Sometimes those are the ones that really make you think and make you positive. So I really like that. Favorite quote of the movie, and it's a quote I like, and a quote I feel like could be emo song lyrics as well. Like a Fall Out Boy song or a Panic at the Disco song. So here's the quote in the movie. Love is a lot like communism. It's a great idea, but it never quite worked out in the end. And I don't know. It's just that quote spoke to me. And so if I ever release an emo album where I'm just doing that with the titles, you should know that's going to be one of them. And with that, yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't it, even people who are saying, like, happily in love, and, even then, there's also things with that as well, but you deal with it and you're okay with it, So love is like communism. Sounds great, and if you can get that perfect communism, like, it's probably never going to happen. I don't think we'll get there because people are bad. But yeah, love is a lot like communism. And yeah, thinking about that quote a lot. Been reminiscing and enjoying that. So yeah, that's the longest week, I'd say. I think I watched it on Peacock. HBO Max went down to Max. Your move, Peacock. Netflix. It's just called Flix. I could see that being a move. Netflix to Flix. I don't feel like that. I think the net is more important than the Flix. I think that net, because if you say net, people are like, Netflix? Netflix, But yeah, no. Jason Bateman movie, he's the kind of guy who always does like a 10 out of 10, like, and you're like, he doesn't seem like he's doing a 10 out of 10, but like, and that's how good he's acting, like, you're not thinking he's acting, it's that. So like, it's like John Goodman, like, you don't really notice he's acting. He's like you just notice him as a character. So, all the interesting things that I could say about that movie. So,
cool stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
So, I'm feeling my age again. It's just like, seems like I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm old to kids and then young to boomers and Gen X, I'm just in that spot. And it's making me feel my age. I had a funny thought, but then I lost it. But yeah, feeling old, and I still think everything's like, I think I'm stuck in like 2010, that 2000 and 2011. It's the age I'm really stuck in, or the year, I'm really stuck in. But yeah, I listened to My Chemical Romance, the song Teenagers, and I kind of related with the chorus. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me. It just depends on if they think you're cool or not, but I was like, I kind of relate to this a little bit. Sometimes, you walk by a group of children and you're like, please don't talk to me, you know. But anyways, though, we're going to go through BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is our friend with some low-tier content, but high-quality memes from me to react to. So, let's jump into it. Older people are sharing things that confuse them about kids these days in their 20s and teens. Exciting stuff. Let me go ahead and I forgot to do the thing. Do. All right, and awesome stuff. So yeah, older people are sharing things that confuse them about kids these days in their 20s. I don't think I need to read the bio. Their makeup routines. I'm 45 and my oldest daughter is 19. She can do makeup in such different ways. Concert makeup versus university makeup versus job makeup versus makeup she wears when she visits her grandparents, and it all looks amazing. She attributes it to all the makeup tutorials she'd watched growing up, and she's teaching her 12-year-old sister. I could sit all day and watch them interact and paint makeup on one another's face. I love it. Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Oh yeah, makeup and stuff like that. I think, and I always think that sometimes when it's noticeable, like, you know, sometimes it's like too perfect, you know, like when a girl has like too perfect makeup on, and you also notice it too. Could be kind of, there's like a mental thing, like is really self-conscious about something, and that can lead to some crazy stuff. So you just gotta be worried about that. So yeah, makeup. I guess makeup does is a new thing that I cannot relate to. I only use like concealer to cover zits. Like that's all I use. So I'm hip with the kids, but I'm not that hip. You know what I'm saying? The openness young people have on social media these days, they post about all their problems as if that could possibly help. It's not going to. In fact, getting away from social media might be the better solution. Yeah, I think people are I think a lot of people are getting better at it, but people are like way too open on social media. I'm like, and you know, I get like in some instances, like those people probably only allow certain people to see it, but I'm just in that group, you know, they're like, yeah, you can see it. He's hit on me. He's definitely not into our kids, you know. But, yeah, like some people are like way too open, and, I get worried about that. Like even like I posted like a picture of me and like my little cousin, and I'm like, not my kid, you know, it was the caption, and I was like, I feel kind of weird. I'm not going to post it on the show, but I felt kind of weird that to post it on Instagram, because I don't know if like who sees my post should be seeing that, you know, seeing a kid and so finding my cousin, seeing those, you know, it's just weird shit like that, you know. I just feel weird. Kids make things weird. That's why I don't like it. Fuck kids. That's why I don't like kids. But and don't be open on social media either. Don't be stupid. 3. I've been surprised that most of the Gen Z students I work with don't have good computer skills. I assume that growing up with smartphones would make them great at IT and computer stuff, but I think in reality the smartphone and apps make so that young people don't really learn how things work. Don't have computer skills? That is weird. Yeah, I guess I really think like some things with computer skills, like, you know, like you go to school, and when you're in school, you learn how to you learn how to type. Do they still do typing in school? Like we had to do typing. Well, I got out of I did a little in middle school, but in high school, I got out of that completely because I had to take it my senior year, and that was like 2011, actually, I think it was the fall semester. And they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do typing anymore. Everyone knows how to fucking type, you know. Or they did it in middle school and primary school. I had computers primary school. I think we went from like the old Macs, like the original. It's the original. Is it the original iMac or no? I think it was just called the Apple II or something. Yeah, Apple II. That was what it was, I think. And they had those in school, and then we got Windows XP. So that was exciting. So I I had computer classes ever since I was little, so I guess just leave it. Yeah, if you're young, you do it now, because now we even use computers more for, like, you have to type papers now. And so now so now every kid just knows. But like other computer skills, like, you know how to like do basic computer where you're like, oh, did I not realize, is my computer running slow because I have 15 programs open? Like, people don't understand those concepts. Like, oh, if I have a million Chrome tabs open, then my computer will be slower, and that's not good. So people don't know that. I think it's just random basic computer skills I think people are having that I think you'd be like really surprised with that. Smartphones too, you know. It's amazing. Like, you know, Gen Z ain't no different from the boomers. It's like, you know, like they're like, you've had a cell phone for 10 years now and you still don't know how to use it. You don't know how to download an app. So, you know, that's the boomers in us. So, yeah, it's not too surprising, but I am surprisingly surprised. That's cool. The way they make everything into a diagnosis, everyone on TikTok seems to have something. If they like to have a clean room, it's OCD. If someone doesn't like them, that person is a narcissist or sociopath. I have mental health issues myself, and it's really hard to find people to talk to about them because pretty much everything I see online is kids self-diagnosing and spreading misinformation. Yeah, I think that is going to be a phase, and the phase is going to pass. So weird, you know, just there becomes a weird phase, and then everyone looks back on that cringe, and you just have to make the good judgment now. Like, is this stupid? You know, and then, you know, so I think the making everything a diagnosis, and, you know, some people are thinking like, you know, the whole multiple genders is going to be, you know, people are going to be like people who identify as non-binary are going to like, you know, I don't really think I am, you know, I think I'm going back, you know, like Demi Lovato already did. Or, you know, they'll go from she, they to she, her. She'll revert back. If you ever go to an event and someone gets up to speak and they start the conversation up with, my name is Jocelyn, she, her. They start with she, her, and then you see they're white. You're about to hear the dumbest fucking thing come out of someone's mouth that you've ever heard in your life. It's a complaint about the most nonsense thing. It's like, the window was 75% open. And you're like, shut the fuck up. You know? It's just a little nonsense. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going to stick around or not. Eventually I'm going to be not woke. And then it's like, Patton Oswalt said, like, sorry, I don't think you should be able to fuck your own clones. Like, you know what? I think you should be able to fuck another person's clone, but you can't be fucking your own clone. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm just old fashioned like that, you know? So it was like, eventually we get so woke, you know? Like, you're not gonna be able to keep up forever. Just try to stay as long as possible, you know? All right. Cancel culture. It seems to me that a lot of young people don't seem to understand the difference between someone having opinions you don't like, and having opinions that are morally reprehensible. Yeah, cancel culture. I don't know. Surprisingly, buzzword. I think we need to update the cancel Schweezy drinking game to, like, if it's something comes up about cancel culture, you just chug a keg, because that's hilarious. Yeah, so my cancel culture, I guess, what are my thoughts on cancel culture of the guy with the podcast called Cancel Schweezy? Well, it's called Cancel Schweezy because the joke is I'm going to say something so stupid, everyone's going to cancel me. That's the joke, you know, and then, but in reality, it's not really that hot of a take, you know, just a little obscure, you know, just a little out there, you know, and that's, you know, it's the whole joke of cancel. What do I think about cancel culture? It's like, I think we're already seeing that if they really need to be quote unquote canceled, they will go away and you won't see them again. Like, because the thing is, like, if they get such a bad reputation, no one's gonna want to work with them. So, you know, when it's really bad, I think that's when it does. When it's not, you're like, okay, like, it wasn't that, like, Louis C.K. jerking off. I'm like, all right, that was a bad thing to do, but Like, I'm gonna let you know that that's the most vulnerable. That's the most vulnerable a man is when he's just jerking himself off. So I don't. I mean, you were both invulnerable. And, you know, just weird things. So yeah, I guess that's my cancel culture thought. So like when it's bad, I think karma will work it out. I think my spiritual beliefs have gone to the like my name is Earl idea of karma. Like that's how I believe in the universe now. And for a while I think kind of like that, but I think it's a good thing. And now I'm just like I think I actually believe that. I think I actually believe that, like, you know, when my name is Earl, that concept, you know, it's like that concept of karma where you do good things happen. When you do bad things happen. I believe in that karma, you know. So I think I'm just admitting to myself I full on believe that shit. So that's cool. That's a cancel Schweezy exclusive right there. Discovering that I fucking believe in the my name is Earl karma. Like this is a worldwide moment that we all need to get into. Cancel Schweezy moment. That I believe in the my name is Earl rules of karma. I'm just admitting to it now. That's what I think about the world. And you're like, I don't know. You know, I don't know what spiritual things are out there, but I mean, doesn't that make sense though? Doesn't that feel like life should balance out, you know? I feel like life needs to balance out, you know, if you want good things happen, you know, but you have to be disciplined for it too, you know. I think it also involves discipline too, like Earl Hickey and righting the wrongs of his list. This is what I believe now. I believe in the my name is Earl stuff. This is you ever like think to yourself and really make a breakthrough? I'm so happy this is being filmed / recorded. You know, when you watch the video, you won't hear film, but when you're listening, you want to hear record. So anyways, though, I believe in my name is Earl karma, and that's what happened to cancel culture, you know. 6, the trend of making a full-blown social media account for your baby and tagging yourself in the bio. That is fucking weird. That's just, I think every generation knows that's weird. It's weird. It's weird seeing that you're seeing as a trend. Like, so, you know, multiple teenage girls getting pregnant. So, you know, and making this. So it's like, yeah. The only time I've seen it is like when you're in high school and like the girl, you just were Facebook friends with the girl who got pregnant and then made a page for the baby. Like, it's been weird every generation. It's been weird in every generation. So that's not I hope if it's a trend, we all think it's cringe. So every generation thinks it's cringe, but it happens in all of them. I think how long until the millennials are barren, you know? Minus the men, the women, you know? That's like a dark thought, but it's also a okay question to ask. In terms of positives, I work with young people and I'm super impressed by how much more confident young women are around periods and menstrual talk. They're so much more confident than my generation was to just ask for what accommodations they require and the information they need to know. I'm really glad the taboo is slowly shifting in this area. Yeah, I never got the taboo behind a woman's period, you know. You can explain it to men. Men get it. Men can understand what happens. You're like, all right, so every once a month, egg goes through the tube, and then it's like, get me pregnant, and then you don't get pregnant, and then the egg just bleeds and dies. I think that's it. Is that right? You know, I'm only really knowledgeable on things that affect my life, so sometimes, you know, I am the smartest person you know, but at the same time, I'm the smartest person you know about things that affect my life. So write that down. Get that tattooed on your body, please. Anyways, though, yeah, so, yeah, it's, like, weird. And then, like, now I have friends who are women that are just like, I'm having the bloodiest period of my life, you know? It's just fucking, Pompeii down in my vagina. I'm like, okay, too much info. And, no, we're not talking about periods. I was like, let's bring up period sex time. No, we're not gonna do that. It's okay either way. You know what? Do you. Yeah, I never knew why we had to be so taboo. She started her period. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh, and then if you're a little kid, what's that? Well, when women turn like 11 or 12 or whatever age women get periods these days, they once a month they bleed out of their vaginas, and then it stops. Then it comes back every month, and that's really all happens. So every kid eventually bleeds out of their vagina, and they ruin a pair of underwear. That's, it's the story. It's the story of the sun. It's the story told throughout time and space. Is the talk on the woman's period, and I wish I was more knowledgeable, but it doesn't affect me, so I don't have to know. I don't have to know anything. So, but yeah, it's okay. I think it's okay for women to be open to and I think women should be able to breastfeed in public, but women, don't make eye contact with anyone. Just, okay? Deal? You can breastfeed in public. However, you can't make eye contact with anyone. What about the baby? No. Not even the baby. That's weird. Like, he's looking up on you, enjoying that, like, sucking on mommy's titties. I'm like, that's weird, dude. It's a job that has to be done. It's not sexy sucking on your mom's tits, okay? It's sexy to suck on someone else's mom's tits, but that's your kid, though. Like, usually making that for your kid. So, a lot of education today, folks. A lot of education. All right. I work with a lot of 17 to 20-year-olds, and I've noticed a weird obsession with young people knowing where their partners are at all times. One girl threw a fit because her partner's Snapchat location wasn't on, and she was scarily angry about it. It's such a red flag, in my opinion. Yeah, I guess I didn't date in the 90s because I was like a toddler, but I have watched a lot of TV shows from the 90s, and I know about the dating, how dating was back then. Like, you actually had to get a girl's phone number, and if you were in high school, you had to talk to her dad. It's always the dad who answers the phone. It's like, my daughter's a teenager, which means I have to answer the phone call now. And that's when dads get on the phone. That's when dads use phones. And they put it on there. And we're all looking at Alexandra Daddario, and I don't blame you. I am too. So, 9, all the swimsuits that go up your butt crack. It just looks so uncomfortable to me, but y'all do you. I'll sit here in my full coverage, grainy bathing suit that's probably ugly, but at least I'll be comfy. Yeah, I've noticed. If you're, all of us guys, we know a woman. We go on her Instagram. We scroll, see if they've ever been to the beach. Every man does it. And if a man doesn't do it, he's a liar. We all do it. And guess what? It doesn't mean he's cheating on you. He doesn't mean he's cheating on you. He's just, you can look. If it's on a phone, it's okay. If it's in real life, it's different. But, there's also, we can come back to that. But, yeah, I've noticed some girls wear extremely nothing, and some girls wear a swimsuit which, covers their gut. And I'm not gut shaming anyone. I'm bloated half the time anyways, so I'm not gut shaming anyone, but or like that, and you think it's hot, and then you realize it's only okay, it could be better, but it's okay. It can get the job done. Okay, ladies, it can get the job done. Just let that fupa hang out. Just let it. It's kind of hot. A little. It's like give it a little bit. Just like a little bit. Not much, like a little bit. And if you have big thighs, that means you're crushing guys' skulls in between your crotch. The constant posting of children on social media. I see a ton of mothers doing this. I just think children have a right to privacy, and posting their photos, you take that away from them. You're also influencing them at a young age to constantly be on social media. I hate that for kids. Yeah, I've also thought about that too. I mean, I even know people who like don't post their kids on social media at all, except for sometimes you'll see them or hear them, you know? That's the kind of like parenting. So some people, and then I've seen a lot of people, they'll post pictures of their kids, but they'll always cover their face or have the kid from behind. And I just think that's weird. Like, why post your kid if you're not going to show their face, you know? You know, it seems like you're trying to make a brand out of your child, but the brand has no face, you know? That's what it's all about. Making the brand face. Yeah, but like some people, and then I know some people, it's still social media, but some people are very, very small, you know, just keep their Facebook small, you know, like friend group small, you know, these days, because they're posting their kids and they don't, you know, they'll like make sure only certain people can see pictures of their kids, not everyone have private accounts and stuff like that, just to keep in touch with friends and family, you know. So, yeah, some people do it too much, some people don't do it at all, and some people do it in the weirdest way possible. Fascination with eyebrows. Since when did eyebrows become so important? All of a sudden, people became so focused on brows and making them look absolutely perfect. It's so silly and ridiculous to me. They're just two small lines of hair on your face, and most of the time, I don't even notice someone's brows. That is true. I do not get most eyebrow things. Like, I guess if you want to like thicken it up, I know you can get like, it's not a tattoo, but like something done that's kind of like a tattoo, and it's just like, and it just makes it look a little bit thicker. Guys, I've seen some guys do it with their hair, but like it's not, you know, it only works so much, you know. So very, very, it's, you know, very weird. Some people get tattooed hair, you know, like short, you know, and they just have to shave what they don't, you know. Weird. It's a weird one. But ladies, if you're wanting to know what eyebrows that your man wants to see on you, I'm here for you. The eyebrows he wants to see on you are separate but equal, like schools, like the opposite of schools are supposed to be. Separate but equal, great for eyebrows, bad for schools. Yeah, men don't give a shit as long as they're there. If you shave him off, he's gonna leave. Ladies, if you want a man to leave you, shave off your eyebrows. He will fuck you one or two more times, and then he will leave. Okay? You will have to put out a couple times, and then he'll leave. You know, a small price to pay for salvation, if you catch my drift. So that's that. We went through some important stuff. Wearing headphones as accessories. This is my biggest beef with Gen Z. They fully wear AirPods with no sound coming through them. Considering it's some kind of fashion statement, it's dumb, and I'll happily die on this hill. That kind of reminds me of like how people who want to flex like that they have a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of money. They'll like, you know, try to like jewelry and expensive clothes and cars and shit like that. And like, yeah, they'll do the thing where like, oh yeah, I have like this, I have my AirPods in, it's the newest one, or I have my AirPods Max, you know, it's an accessory for my outfit to show you that I have a lot of money because those were $500 headphones. They'll kind of brag about it, but rich people don't really brag about their wealth that much. So it's kind of the opposite of what movies taught us, you know. That's why people who don't have a lot of money act like people in movies. But yeah, people who don't have a lot of money, like Mark Zuckerberg, you could probably just like, you know, you say you work retail and you didn't like know who he was, you could like help him out. I'm like, oh hell, can you help me with my shirt? Yeah, okay. And he was like, oh okay. I really like this color shirt. It's kind of my color. Can I get $5 million? And yeah, you work on like commission, right? You know, and that's like those are the kind of guys that you meet. And you're like, okay, I really like working with you. Those are like the rich guys. That's what rich guys do. They don't usually have to flex. They just exist. Their existence is a flex that they're better than you. So that's cool. So yeah, Gen Z's are cool, you know, cool kids. 13 is the celebrity obsessed culture. I feel like young people these days have a conspiracy theory level investment into the lives of their favorite celebrities. It's creepy. Fandom has always existed, and sure, I had boy band posters all over my room when I was younger, but the celebrity obsession has become very unnerving. Yeah, I think the reason why the celebrity obsession became so creepy to this point, like unnerving. And like, why are people so obsessed? Like, I love Taylor Swift. I love her music. You know, like the new album, yes. But like right now, I do not want to go to a Taylor Swift concert because I just think a lot of her fan base is just super toxic. I got to admit, good songs and they have good. And like, I'm not saying if you like Taylor Swift, like you're her toxic fan. Her toxic fans are, you know who her toxic fans are. If you're making conspiracy videos about Taylor Swift and like how she's trying to leave you a secret message, you know how fucking crazy you sound that like, I think she's leaving us a secret message, guys. I gotta find this. I'm gonna have to diagnose this clue and figure out the secret message. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. Like, do you know how crazy you sound right now? Like, I understand liking something, but like, you gotta not be crazy about it. You know, I really like music and I could just be crazy about it. Like, I could be really, really, really crazy about it, but I hold it back. You know, I hold it back a lot because I don't want people to know, I don't want to be crazy, and you choose to be crazy. You know, this kind of crazy is something you choose. Like, I could never just like, what do you do in your free times? Like, I manage a meme and fan account for Bella Porch. I'm like, oh, that's what you do in your free time. Yeah. Okay. So that's a lot. That's weird, man. That's really weird. And yeah. And yeah, I think people would think you're weird already. So it's okay to like things, but like, remember, if it makes you sound crazy, it's probably true. Always remember that. I don't understand the whole obsession with influencers. Why would you want to scroll through a bunch of selfies from strangers on Instagram or watch some random family document their totally staged for the camera day on YouTube? It's just so deeply weird to me that so many major Gen Z celebrities aren't talented musicians or writers or actors or artists. Rather, they just post pictures of themselves with some boring caption like "so busy lately," and it gets literally 1 million likes. Yeah, I just think it's people who've in some way or another built up a fan base, and so really to build up a fan base, you have to make content. So they're probably making some kind of content, and sometimes just there's someone you're interested in, and their lives they just live an interesting life, and it's kind of like living through them, because when your life is boring, you know, sometimes your life just gets to that point, it just gets boring. So you know, it's cool to keep you going there. And then there's people who, you know, who do a lot of videos and make content in like individual hobbies. So like that's also it's also a thing too. So yeah, you know, like that influence, like the influencers over the word. If you're just an influencer, like you just post on Instagram, like fuck you. But like then there's people who do also build up a fan base, make content. It was really cool. And fuck your OnlyFans. I'm just feeling it. The skimpy clothes they wear. I know crop tops are a thing right now, but my goodness, but some clothes on. Aren't you cold? Some days these young people will realize comfiness is key and there's no need to impress people by dressing in revealing clothes. You know what? I'm going to go against this person. Wear revealing clothes, ladies. I'm not requesting it, but I'm approving it. So you do you, but just let me know. Send me some photos. Just let me know you're doing okay. You know, that's all that matters. You know, I'm against that person. Bachelorette parties, these pre-wedding traditions have gotten out of control. I've seen so many friends soured because a bride-to-be expected her friends to shell out thousands of dollars for their very one-sided pricey vacation. More often than not, these celebrations seems to take a toll on relationships. Yeah, and fuck every person who goes to Nashville for their bachelorette party. Fuck all of you. You're the scum of the earth. I think you're worse than people who reheat fish in the office. I think you're worse than those people. Those people, when you go to Nashville for your bachelorette party, you know how many tumors you've had grown inside of people who have to work, whose work down there's heads. You've like the tumor in their brain has grown because of you. And that's that. Hookup culture, I do not understand it. Aren't you afraid of STIs? And sleeping with random people just seems gross and dangerous to me. You know, just sleep with people who are clean, you know? I always feel like, STDs and shit like that come from when you do, I don't know where they come from. I'm not going to speak on that. But don't fuck people with things, If you do that, you're in. Or I think condoms might work in that situation, so you might just have to take one for the team, brother. I don't know how many more we got of these. What I generally don't understand is the utter obsession with zodiac signs. A girl literally told my little sister that she was going to hate her because of her sign, and she was being totally serious. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and it's not backed up by any science. I think people don't have personality. I think people are trying to find personalities, and technology has changed things. And so now people were like, I want a personality trait, and then they figure out their zodiac sign, and they're like, all right, I have a personality now. I have my personality. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a bad bitch, So that's cool. The hairstyles see Gen Z are all competing for world's worst haircuts, and they're all winning. I think haircuts come and go, what looks good, what looks bad. Like, it's just what happens, and you just gotta live with it. You gotta live with hairstyles coming and going, 20, the popular look of mom jeans with crop tops so far doesn't flatter anyone that I've seen. Shut the fuck up. That's all I have to say to you. I find my half sister, who are 15 and 17 years old, to be so confusing. They routinely rely on TikTok for information instead of using the search engine Google. Yeah, apparently kids are. That's why you see some videos like, here's how you fix this leaky sink. First, you take your wrench tool and do this. And the reason why you occasionally stumble on videos like that is because kids are using TikTok to solve their problems, like how millennials use Google. And all I did was Google it, and both sources are fine. It's just, it's a weird, I don't know if you're in a situation I don't know what to do. Well, I just Google it, but that's easier to Google even if you have bad service. A Google searches, you can usually get that going. It's not easy, but you can get it going. But trying to load an entire fucking video, dude, that's rough. So I don't know if that's gonna keep on. I don't none of these social media sites are gonna last forever. I'd be really surprised if they did. But or maybe they will. Maybe they're gonna maybe outlive me, but they're not gonna be forever. So we're just gonna have all these episodes, and someone's like, this guy was a genius of the time. I'll be like Plato in the future. Someone just see me. This dude was revolutionary. He was like, P is stored in the ball. And we looked at it, the science is different, but I think if you say it, it's true. So, P is stored in the balls, FYI. That's cool. Influencer culture, we already had that, right? Yep, that's it. So, all right, what do you guys think? What's the weird things kids do? Let me know. Have you ever cracked open a cold one with the boys? The vibes are on, then all of a sudden, you are out of cold ones? Though the vibes are still on, the vibes will soon go off because you are out of cold ones. There's no need to drive when you're under the vibes. That's why today's sponsor, Drizly, is here to make sure that the vibes continue. Drizly gets all your favorite beer, seltzer, wine, whiskey, and much more delivered directly to your home. With their easy-to-use mobile app, we are getting one step closer to never leaving our homes. It's saying something when it's being praised as the Amazon for liquor. Drizly is my go-to app for getting all the booze I need so I can do other things. So using our link in the description today, you can save $5 off your first purchase through Drizly. Drizly has proprietary ID verification technology that it provides to its retail partners that allows drivers to scan IDs for more than a barcode to make sure the purchaser is over 21 years old in the US and of legal drinking age in Canada. Retailers on Drizly may have a minimum order or delivery fee. So using our link in the description, get $5 off your first order with Drizly. And remember, when you use our links, you directly support this show. You're not a boomer who still goes to what our ancient civilizations called a store. You buy everything on the internet like a modern individual. What if I could tell you that you could be saving more on your purchases by only making a few clicks on your computer? That's where today's sponsor, Honey, will change your life. Honey is a free browser extension you can download using the link in our description. of this episode. Honey searches the entire internet for promo code, coupon codes, free shipping, and anything else that will save you money when buying things online. It's 100% free, and at no point will you have to pay for it with all of those many microtransactions. It's as simple as pressing a single button, and you can start saving money. Not using Honey is basically throwing money away that could be saved for more important things. I recently had to get business cards for myself, and Honey literally saved me 60% on a pack of 500 business cards. It was amazing. Add the Honey extension to your browser today for free by using the link in our description of this episode. And when you use our links, you directly support this show. That's it, folks. It's time for Oh No, Our Table, the part of the episode where I answer questions. So, let's just see what we got here. Is it normal to jerk off at least once a day, almost every day? That's a good question, because I think every person is going to have at least what I would say, some level they think is okay for them. Like, there's some guys like, yeah, I only really jerk off on my days off, you know. I'm like, what? Like, I could probably do every day if I wanted to, you know. So I think it's normal. It's okay to jerk off once a day. After that, it's like you need to get some hobbies or something like that, you know. Like special time of the day, you do it. But you also, what I would say, yeah, I think what's going to be the correct answer here is whatever your body can deal with, because if your body's going to be able to deal with it, what's going to happen is you're going to be fine. So once a day I feel like is pretty normal. I think once we get to 3, it's like, okay, there. Like, but it was just like my day off. You know, I jerk off a lot on my day off. I'm like, okay. You know, it's like a day to yourself. We all need a day to ourselves sometimes, you know. Treat ourselves good. So I would say once a day is fine. 2 if you're excessive, and for the fellas, having a hard time falling asleep, then I would say, yeah, give it a try. At least you got to try everything. Headache, you know, try jerking off. Stuffy nose, just jerk off, you know. At least try it, you know. So, yeah, I would say once a day is fine, but I think after once a day, you got to have more things going on in your life. To be honest with you, if you don't have a lot of things going on, you can jerk off 2 times a day. Like, I feel like if you're doing life right, like, you have plenty of time to jerk off, but you don't waste all that time just jerking off. You use that time in other spots too. So that's exciting. So that's about jerking off, folks. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You clicked on my face. Whenever you think, what am I fucking, when someone's also listening to, what the fuck are we listening to? You know how many times that's probably happened in the 130 episodes of this podcast? In the 130 podcasts so far, I guarantee at least one person every episode who was listening to someone else's listening to this, said, what the fuck are we listening to? You know, that's had to have happened in the existence of this podcast. So 130 episodes, the odds are very high. The odds are very high that that's happened. So yeah, just jerk off once a day, fellas. And then after that, if it's like you need to fall asleep or something like that, or your balls feel kind of weird, you know, sometimes you just jerk off and it feels better. It's not like life-threatening or anything, but I think that's what I'm explaining blue balls. Okay, we'll move on. I think we'll move on. My boyfriend's friend is cheating on his girlfriend. Do I tell her? Okay. My boyfriend's friend has been with his girlfriend for about 7 months, but recently the friend, let's call him Tom, has been asking for and receiving nudes from a girl he met online. The online girl specifically asked Tom if he had a girlfriend, and he replied with no. Tom's girlfriend is really sweet and such a kind person, and I feel so bad that she doesn't know what is going on. My boyfriend says I can't tell her because if I do, then Tom will know that my boyfriend told me, and he would get in trouble with his whole friend group, as they are the ones that encouraged Tom to talk to the online girl. I know my boyfriend said not to, but should I tell her? So, I think this is one of those complicated situations because at some point you need to say I need to stay out of their business, or I'm going to get into their business. And yeah, and I think in a complicated situation, I think that you are probably not the person who needs to tell her what's going on, because I guess Tom, so Tom's cheating and Tom's your boyfriend's friend. So that's the thing, is the boyfriend's friend. Now, there are a couple other possibilities you could go with. One of the possibilities is you're going to have to get the tease. You need like a photo, incriminating evidence. You need good evidence. You need that evidence. And then you can find one of those websites where you can have like a temporary email the photo, to her. And then it's like, oh, you have to get her email address. All right, so we're gonna go back. So before that, you have to get her email address to send her the incriminating evidence. So before that, you'll need to gather evidence, and then once you gather the evidence, you create a fake email, and then send her the incriminating evidence. So get evidence, and then you have to get parts. And you might need to buy a camera or use your phone. I think probably you can use your phone camera. It'd be fine. Make sure you're getting clear audio too if you're recording too. You got to make sure they know it's the boyfriend. That's what you got to do. So you can do it. I would say if you're gonna do it anonymously. So I would say, yeah, that's the first advice I give you. Don't be coming out to you as a person. You can either ignore it altogether, or you can take all these elaborate steps, okay? You can take all these elaborate steps to go ahead and let this chick know that she's being cheated on. So you can go through all those steps, because you're definitely not going to be the person. You can't tell her in person. You have to do it anonymously, and, that's going to require a bunch of steps. So you can either do that, so you can tell her through that method, or just leave it alone. It's not, it's not my business. However, though, whenever you want to hear the tea, it's okay to want to, if someone's making tea, I'll enjoy the tea, That's how it is. I love hearing some good tea. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? That's the shit. That's the shit. That's like, I feel like, there's like, everyone works, a lot of people work jobs that they just want to kill themselves every day, then they go in. And I think the only thing keeping them from doing so is rumors in tea around the workplace. I guarantee that's the only thing keeping people from killing themselves, is that, because we all fucking love it, and it's great. It's great. The problem is when you want to gossip about someone who doesn't have a lot of good things, who's just a normal person, So, anyways, though, yeah, those are your two options to say. I think you have to listen to your gut on that one. But also, for real, you need to do it anonymously. You just, because that's going to cause some shit with your boyfriend and the other one. So you got to do it anonymously, and so that's going to require some work. And you have to realize, is this bitch really that important to me that I should let her know that? Like, I don't know her that well. So, life's what you make it. So let's make it rock. Hannah Montana. Girlfriends, in parentheses, guy friends, all right. Every guy friend my girlfriend has brought up is someone she's ended up having a sexual encounter with. I personally don't feel comfortable with her staying in contact with these guys, even if she's never had a romantic relationship with them. There hasn't been a single person she's mentioned that she hasn't done something with, 3 so far, a couple of which she still talks to as a friend. Am I immature for not being comfortable with this? All right, so I think for somehow every guy can relate to this for some reason. It's like your girlfriend, unless she's ugly, then you're not going to have to worry about that. She has guys that are her friends, And the thing is, I think you can be friends with, with the opposite sex can be friends with each other. I don't think that's a problem at all. The problem is if any of you think about fucking each other, because I know all those guys she's still really close friends with. Here's what I'm going to say. They're not going to go out of their way to hook up with her again. They're not going to go out of their way for it. They've already had their fun with her. But when it's going to be offered to them easy, when the opportunity comes up, they will snake in. So they're fine without it, but they will snake their way in. That's the problem with those guy friends. And women think, oh, we're just friends. There's nothing even sexual between us. Like, guarantee that guy wants to fuck you. And whenever he gets the chance, he's going to try and fuck you. That's why you're friends with each other. They like to snake their way, and that's the problem. They're snakes. Those are the snakes in the world. Those guys who are friends with girls just waiting for the breakup or the fight to swoop in and little fucking vultures, you know? That's the vultures of the fucking fuckboy world, folks. The fuckboys. Yeah, no, I don't think it's... The thing is, I think what you can say, you should at least try and get to the mindset, or at least to the point in your relationship where you can be, yeah, I trust you. I don't have any reason not to trust you. However, I don't trust those guys. So that's also a valid argument too, you know. And as we know, any man with the same brain will tell any other woman, like, yeah, that guy is trying to snake his way into your pussy. So you better watch out. You better not cry. Bite your covers. I'm coming in dry. That's what he's doing. So yeah, I feel like it's normal to do it. And it's also, if you trust her, you should trust you be fine. However, there is something you can't trust those guys. That's the thing. You can't be trusting those snakes. And you kind of have to manipulate the situation into like, oh, I guess we're going to grow apart. You know, they're going to grow. I'll try to get them to grow apart. That's called alienation. That's the great steps to how to narcissist a girl and get that Stockholm syndrome working for you. So yeah, just be aware that the snakes exist, and you gotta watch out for the snakes because
This is the type of guy you get.
that's the type of guy that's who you're talking to. Can I be a Christian without baptism? So in the Christian faith, this is a very debated topic amongst everyone. So I think a lot of it goes back to in the Bible, John the Baptist was baptizing people, and Jesus liked that shit. So now we do it. And so then people make it ritualistic, where they're like, oh, you can't get into heaven unless you're baptized. And that's why we baptize babies, because that way, when you baptize a baby, that way, like if they die young before they can like do their whole salvation shit or whatever, the classes in their church or whatever they have to do, you know, that way they don't go to hell, you know, to make sure before they can choose, you know, their own shit. So it's weird. And then some people are like, no, I don't think that happens. And then I grew up with the idea that, yeah, babies go to heaven because they've never sinned. And that's the logic I went by. So yeah, it's gonna be different between every sect of Christianity. I'll say Catholics are a lot more baptized babies. I think Methodists baptize babies. Baptists, clearly in the name, very into that shit. And a lot of churches are like, you can't partake in communion unless you've been baptized. That's how I grew up. I think that only people who were baptized get to take communion. And so even then, I think I went to church. It wasn't an actual church service. My mom was singing in like a little Christmas program. Went to see her. And they were doing stuff like that. What was I still took communion because I was like, still qualified. I still got that qualification. I have not, because I'm not an apostate. Unless you're a Jehovah's Witness, then I'm an apostate. Just saying. So yeah, sex I grew up with was like when you one day you realize you want to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and then it's a ritual. You do it by baptism. Let's pretend I still believe in all that shit. I would say that it's just kind of like a ritual or to your commitment that you're making to God. And a lot of people just fail that. I failed that shit. It's like we failed the dare lion, we failed God. Who else have we failed? Millennials are failing everyone. They're still doing dare programs, and like it's known to not work. It just educates people on the drugs. Like, I think I want that high. So yeah, I think the baptism is the ritual of your commitment. Doesn't that sound like cult shit right there? Doesn't that sound like it's a commitment to our Sky Daddy? So yeah, everyone's gonna believe different. Like you can't have communion, and you're not a member of this church unless you're baptized, and you can't be. My dad wasn't baptized for the longest time, and then him and my mom did a little thing together privately, and then he was able to be baptized and be like an elder in the church. So that's my dad. He didn't even retire. He died as an elder with them. Anyways, cool stuff about Christianity. And so yeah, people go get baptized, even if you don't believe it, just in case. I think if we do it just in case, I think we'll be fine. That's the great idea of not knowing what's real and not real, because you just kind of do everything. It's like when you're gonna die, like when you're gonna be on your deathbed, you're about to die. We're all gonna be like, God, forgive me of my sins. Except we're all saying that shit. We know we're gonna die quickly. We're all saying that shit. Yeah, just in case, we're saying that at the end. So don't sit on your fucking high horse. I need to take that off. We need like a gay. When someone's saying gay. Anyways, though, cool Christian facts from a guy not doing that anymore. Anyways, I'm 18 and single. I love being single, but most people around me say it's depressing to be single at the age of 18. Is this true? So I think what they're probably trying to say is they are not the kind of people who enjoy being single. Like, there's a lot of people I know who do not like being single. Like, I've known guys who are like, just like the moment they break up with someone, like it's not long till they're with someone else. It's like Paul Rudd and I Love You Man. It's just like, yeah, they just they're not the kind of guy who likes being single. They'll get a divorce and then immediately start dating someone else. It's crazy. They'll like get remarried in less than a year. I'm like, how you, especially when like the wife died, like she died and less than a year later you're remarried. Like you can't be alone that long. You can't be alone. You can't be by yourself for that long. So it's just like people's personalities, have that, oh, if I'm single, then I'm not happy. And like, I can only be happy if I'm like, but honestly, being single is not too bad. You just do whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want. You can be a bohemian artist and follow yourself and travel and do everything you like. And, sometimes people suck, sometimes people are the worst. And, yeah, they suck.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And, sometimes it's just nice to be on your own. It's like, whatever I want to do tomorrow, I'm going to do tomorrow, And it's like, I don't need to check in with my wife, or like we both have kids and there are responsibilities. So we're working as a team, take care of these kids. I need to make sure I can go and do this and she can run the ship, And it's like, oh, I don't have anything tying me down to doing anything, like money. Like that's the biggest obstacle. And sometimes you can get it, sometimes you don't. Life is about getting and not getting money. So you don't do that. So yeah, I don't know. Some people, I think some people can be okay single. See, I'm okay single, but like I'm always down to fucking date someone, I like that shit too. So, you just gotta love both. And so if you're single, just live in a van and travel the country. So that's cool. Cool
stuff, slick stuff, neat stuff.
Are the At Whatever and Other Incel Men Rights podcasts actually real? So my feed has been full of this type of podcast for the last 2 weeks. Are this a real thing? They all sound so unrealistic with their incel point of views from both sides that I cannot believe it's not a script. So script. It was read. Yeah, so are these real? Yeah, that's the real sad shit, is it's actually real. But I want to know how many people in the community are like, quote unquote, underground about their like inceldom, like, guys who are incels, but they have a wife and like they probably don't speak up about things or get mad about things, or they do. You know, everyone's toxic in 2023, and so they really like. But some men aren't like full-grown incels. They just enjoy incel ideas and like a longing and rights and see what we're doing, you know, and shit like that. And I don't think women owe me sex. I guess I can say that. I don't think they owe me sex. You know, I don't think they owe me sex. I think it's a grateful thing when I give it to them, you know. That's what I believe. That sex is a reward for women from me. So and the people are real. So the people who talk on the podcast, sometimes they don't believe everything, but they have an audience and they have to really speak towards their audience, and stuff like that. So sometimes they don't. Like Tucker Carlson doesn't believe like everything he fucking preaches, like dude. And he's like, I kind of think I think the January 6th thing, I actually kind of don't think that was that good of an idea. You're fired, buddy. You're fired. So, yeah, those incel podcasts, Jordan Peterson, yeah, they are serious. That's the sad part. They are serious. But I think the real problem is, like, the underground men who are like diet incels and just enjoy. It's like, man, I wish I could live in a world where, like, or go back to the 1950s and I could just tell women to, like, just get out of line and just fucking smack. I wish I could just smack my wife across the face. But there's some guys like that, but they don't. But they think that. So that's the real terror, is that are just lying within us everywhere. So
I identify as a fucking threat.
all right, we got to the last question. Don't worry. How do men deal with men's public restrooms? I'm a woman, so this doesn't affect me at all, but I just can't wrap my head around the logic. In men's rooms, there's usually a bunch of open urinals or one big community tub just out there in the open with one or two stalls, leaving almost no room for privacy. You're expecting to stand there and whip out your junk just standing there next to a total stranger, and isn't weird? Doesn't people worry about their kids being exposed like that to just anybody? What if you're peeing shy and the one stall is out of order occupied? Even if it doesn't bother you, why is that the standard? I just couldn't imagine a woman's room having a bunch of toilets in a open room with one or two stalls max. You'd think men's rooms would have more stalls with locks like the ladies' room. So the men's bathrooms, we are getting better at that. I think I've rarely been to a place recently that I can remember, or where it's been a problem, that didn't really have like walls in between the urinals. So there's usually a wall in between there. It's a short wall. And I don't know, peeing's weird, you know. It's just like, I'll do it in front of a guy, but I don't want them looking at we just don't look like, you know, some guys look at wieners. If you said bless you, thank you. You know, if we were talking about urinals, right? So, yeah, most of them have a wall, and usually, you know, some guys like to look at dicks, some guys don't. So if you're a guy who doesn't like to look at dicks, then you don't look at other people's dicks when you're at the urinal, so it's not a big deal. And that little wall's fine. You know, it covers up everything. Sometimes they don't have that, and, you know, we usually do our spacing, you know, unless we're in a dire circumstance and you just feel uncomfortable and get as close as fucking possible so no one looks at your fucking limp wiener. It's like, that man has a tiny mushroom. It's like, shut up, I'm a grower. You know? That's what they have. So we're getting better as a society about that, but how men deal with it, I don't think we care as much when we pee. I think we're okay with the doors being, we would like the doors closed when we take a shit a lot of times. I actually don't really care. I'll take a shit with the door. Like, you know, someone could talk to me. I don't really give a shit about that. You know, as long as you're not looking at my fucking wiener. You know, that's the weird thing when you're for people, wiener lookers, I think that's the people you gotta watch out for. But in the most cases, yeah, most of them are getting walls. We're doing better as a society, and we're installing more urinals, and we always space each other out. So that's really how we handle things. But, you know, if you're a sissy, you just have a sit-down weed in the bathroom. And if your preferred method is to sit-down pee, what I got to tell you is that happy Pride Month, because that's for you. Pride Month's for you. That's Pride Month's for you. Yeah, so story short, men don't give a shit if to pee around each other. I don't think we're just used to it. Yeah. And with all that being said, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Cancel Schweezy. Looks like we made it. Looks how far we come, my baby. So thank you so much for checking out this episode of Cancel Schweezy. It has meant the world that you listened to the entire episode. You made it to this far, so secret message for all the secret fans. You're the people I want to thank. Thank you for being a friend. And that's the way it is. So thank you so much for listening to the Lord's trademark favorite podcast, Cancel Schweezy. Follow us on social media at TheSchweezy, my music under Schweezy, twitch.tv/TheSchweezy, Patreon under Schweezy. And make sure you're subscribed, leave us a comment, like, share, leave a review. So honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome. Believe it or not, Schweg isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, I'm not home. You just finished a full episode of Cancel Schweezy. You are now one of the smartest individuals who will ever exist in our world. If you like that episode, make sure you subscribe. Whether you're watching this show or listening to the show, make sure you subscribe. That way you get notified whenever we release full new episodes as well. And if you're on YouTube, smash that bell button. That way you get notified anytime we make a post over here on YouTube. Honk if you love butt drugs, and stay awesome.